Welcome to Under the Sisterhood, where we honor female experiences. During each episode, I will have intimate conversations with women of all ages to get under the hood of their individual journeys through womanhood. Together, we'll pursue the many aspects of the female experience, creating a sacred space for women to share their stories, their ideas, and their wisdom. This is a podcast to celebrate women and recognize all that they do in our world. I'm Elizabeth Elfenbein. Let's get under the hood. Today, I'd like to welcome and honor Elysa Hochman. Elysa is a mother, daughter, sister, friend, musician, composer, performer, teacher, entrepreneur, and she's the co-founder and director of the New York Guitar Academy, Rumba Flamenca, and Quartet. Elysa is an author of classical and flamenco guitar solos and etudes. She has a new book scheduled to release this fall called The Book of Rumba Strums, and she has released 2 instrumental albums. I couldn't be more delighted to be getting under the hood with her today. Welcome, Elysa.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So excited to be having this discussion around sisterhood, around your female experiences and womanhood. Why don't we jump right into the question?
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect.
So you know, like, boy, we are living in such a time today. So what does being a woman mean to you? And please, it can go back and go forward, but in general, what does being a woman mean to you?
So I know that's a very big question, but for me, women in general, I feel like they're really the root of the world, and I feel like we really we're the root of the world. We're creating this world. We really help foster everything that you see. You know, as a mother, as a sister, as you know, anything, as a friend. We really, I feel like, always try to build to where we are now. So I feel that's really my answer for that one. Is just the root of the world. We're the creators of the world in a way, and not to say that men aren't that. I'm married myself to a man, and I have 2 sons. They're there too, but I really feel like, you know, a lot of people say behind every great man is a great woman. I do believe that as well, and I just feel like we really are the main strength in this world, and it's such an important part. It wouldn't be able to exist without the woman in the world.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I've been sitting and thinking a lot about that. And one of the bits that I've written on behalf of Under the Sisterhood is that, you know, we create the future. We create the world. I don't want to be getting all religious on anyone, because that's really not my gig here and not what I want to be about. But I think that we should never lose sight. Women, without women, the world ceases to exist. And that was literally in the original bit of copy. So I couldn't agree more with you. I just like the simplicity of what you're saying. We are the root. We are, you know, I mean, I'm sure you've read The Giving Tree. We are the Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. You know, it's just brilliant. Actually, that's actually the perfect metaphor for it all.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next question, and this one I really would like to delve into, like, what has your female experience been like? And then, you know, within that experience, at what age did you start feeling or recognizing that you were a woman? What was it? So your female experience over your life, and then what was that inflection moment that you said, wow, I'm different?
Right. So that's a hard one. So honestly, yeah, growing up, I would say through elementary school, you know, I didn't really think about that much. It was just, there was no, I come from a family of 6 kids. I have 3 brothers, 2 sisters. We were kind of, it didn't matter, male, female. No one really like spoke about that. So that was a good thing. It was just very, you know, you are who you are. But I would say when I was like in middle school, I kind of felt like I really liked sports at that time. Okay. And so I didn't, I was very into basketball. And that's when I kind of felt like, oh, I felt like I actually wasn't really so much of a woman, because I felt like very tomboyish in a sense. And all I wanted to do was play basketball and just be part of that thing. So I felt like I didn't really fit in that well as a woman, quote unquote, or what people would consider to be a woman. I wasn't, you know, so I guess girly is the term. I wasn't so girly at that time. So that was the first step. So kind of finding your way there. And then in high school, that's when I kind of fell into guitar at the end of middle school, at the beginning of high school, and I was very much in that world. And at that time, honestly, there wasn't a lot of girls playing guitar. So like when I was in high school, I was in like the guitar ensemble and the guitar classes, and I was actually one of the very few girls that would play. So that kind of struck me. I realized like, oh, I'm a girl playing guitar kind of thing. And honestly, really, I now play the flamenco guitar, more of this like rumba flamenca and style of that. And that's really when being a woman really struck me. Okay, you're different, because many for that style of guitar, it was definitely more of a male art. And even one of the highest level, I don't know if you know who Paco de Lucia is, but he's passed at this point, but he is one of the greatest flamenco guitarists ever to live. And he has said that the flamenco guitar is not a woman style of guitar. And it's meant for a man to play, and very, very much of that. But I know. So that's like one thing there. But basically, when I was 23 is when I landed my first teaching job at the highest or the #1 guitar school in Manhattan, called New York City Guitar School. And I was hired to do flamenco guitar to teach that there. And I was teaching mostly adults. So it was like after work hours. And so these adults would come in and they would see me, like this young woman. And right away, I felt like I'd have to prove myself. So I was like, okay, great. They're going to look at me like, oh, this is my teacher, or this young girl is going to teach me how to play flamenco guitar. Okay. So you'd have to walk in, be very, very, I'd have to be super confident, very strong, play something for them, and give them like an absolutely amazing class. So at the end of the class, they'd be like, oh, wow. Okay, awesome. So it's kind of like proving yourself in a sense. And so that was like, I would say that for the first year for sure, it was always like, okay, I have to prove myself. I have to walk in. I have to be, just show them, yeah, why can't I be the one to do that? I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like things have definitely changed over those years. But yeah, so that was basically me falling into this like, okay, this stereotype of like, okay, can you do this? You're this woman type of thing. So I would say around that age group. So that like in 20s is when I was like, okay, I gotta show that I am this very strong character, this strong woman that can do what a man does, quote unquote, right? So.
I think that's really interesting because, we all have female experiences differently. So some of us it might be very biological, getting your period and stuff. It's really interesting that it's been the things you've done in your life, which I can relate to. The fact that you were into playing basketball and very, very much like an athlete, very into being sporty. So at that point, you weren't recognizing girl or boy. You were not even gender oriented. But then as you got into the world of guitar, which is more male dominated, it really made you aware. That's such an interesting perspective. And I can relate to it. I mean, you're quite a bit younger than me, but going into a profession where it's more male dominated and having to prove yourself. How did you feel when did you say it was Pablo, the greatest flamenco guitarist?
Oh, Paco de Lucia.
Paco de
When I
Lucia.
saw that,
Sorry.
yeah, when I
Sorry
saw
about that.
honestly, I didn't feel really bad. I don't know. I was just like, okay, that's just his take on it. He's just being honest, and that's how he feels. Like that's really how he honestly feels. Okay, it's like I do think, I'm not saying that a woman can't play like a man or a man can't play like a woman, but I do think we are different in certain ways, and like certain ways that I play, like maybe I'm going to be playing with a woman's touch, and he's going to be playing with a male touch or whatever. Doesn't mean he's better or I'm better in that. It's just a different, everyone has their own feel. Every human has their own feel. So anyone who's going to pick up an instrument is going to play it in their way. And you could try your best to imitate someone else or another player, but really you are you. And so it's an art of music, and you're going to be able to play it in your way. So there are certain ways or certain strums that I play, and this new book that I have, I'm really known for my strumming for the guitar. Like I have a very unique way of playing like this Rumba Flamenca style. And like, I'm sure Paco de Lucia is absolutely incredible, amazing, the top guitarist, composer in the world. But there's probably certain ways that I play or certain ornaments that I put in that wouldn't, he wouldn't do or play. So I don't get offended at that. Honestly, I don't get offended, but I just, you just have to everyone's going to have their opinion. I do respect him for being honest about how he feels. At least he's saying it how he feels. But, that's just, but the thing is, it is good for me to see that and for everyone to see that, because you have to realize that when you go into certain professions, yeah, it's going to be that way, but you can definitely overcome that. I mean, there's even nowadays, like there's the best CEOs that are women, running these companies, running the world. So you got to show them, okay, yeah, that's how you feel. There's amazing flamenco guitar women now out there that are playing absolutely great. So you have to just take it, you can't sit on it too much. You just prove them wrong, or just go in your own way.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So while you're describing this, I can't help but start thinking about, you know what? You weren't around when Paco was doing his thing. So who knows? You might have surpassed him. There was no point of comparison. So he might be the best. And so what he was doing was keeping women here and saying, no, 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 women can't. But actually you adding your different style might actually bring even more to flamenco guitar. So, I mean, just my humble opinion. If there were, 100 men playing the flamenco guitar and there were 10 women and now there's 50 women, then you have some sort of comparison. But for him to say that, like he didn't hear you play. So maybe he'd say, holy cow, I'm so humbled. I'd like to say I'm sorry to women, to flamenco guitarists around the world, because these women are amazing. They bring a different touch. And in fact, he might have defined one portion of it, but like everything evolves and changes. So you bringing the female perspective to flamenco guitar, in my humble opinion, brings like it adds a whole sort of new level, new layer, new flower, whatever. It brings something new and beautiful to the picture. I just had to say that. So
yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, now there are a lot, because he would probably be at this point, probably 70 something. He was still alive. He passed away at 66. So it wasn't that long ago, I guess, really. But then it's true, like women didn't really play guitar that much. Like it was like you would, if you were going to do an art, you would probably dance. Most likely you would dance the flamenco style, but you wouldn't really play it. But now there's a lot more people playing it. So yes, it is changing, and we are bringing that into the forefront. So if he was alive today, he would definitely probably have a different opinion on that, because he would see how many more people are playing this style of music. So that's a beautiful thing, to just be able to now have that opportunity.
Actually, you might be a vanguard. I have goosebumps just thinking about it, because you might be taking the next generation. You are setting the next bar and saying to any woman guitarist that you can be a flamenco guitarist and you can be amazing. And so, wow, that's really powerful. I mean, really powerful. So you should feel really good about that. This next question, I love this question. So what would you tell your 18-year-old self? So imagine you're looking at me and I'm Elysa. What would you say to me? I'm 18 years old. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm not sure I want to go back, but what would you tell yourself? Knowing you are where you are today, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
I know that's a good question. This year I took on a full-time job teaching at a high school. Public high school in Brooklyn, and so I am around a lot of teenagers. So it's a nice question for me to have, because I've been telling them lots of things. But the number one thing I really think, and I guess if I'm talking to myself specifically, because it's me, is confidence and conviction. That's the main thing, because I was pretty shy in high school, and I definitely did not think I was that good on guitar, and I didn't, I didn't have that confidence. I didn't have that conviction. It was until I got that position, teaching and having to now teach a group class of adults older than me, coming in, teaching there. That's when I had to get that confidence and conviction, or I wouldn't keep that position. So that was very, very nice for me. But I would tell them, whatever you do, I would tell myself this, and I would tell any 18-year-old person out there, is whatever you do, you have to do it with conviction, and you have to have confidence, and just be strong, and always walk tall. I tell them when they sit and play the guitar, sit with your back up straight tall. You are number one, always walk tall. You are front, have confidence and conviction, because if you walk shrug shoulders, and if you're not going to be confident with what you say and what you do, it's just, people see that and they're going to step all over you, and you're not going to be able to reach where you want to reach, or it's going to be more difficult for you to reach where you want to reach. So that's the number one thing, is it's easy to say, but it's not easy to do. But to have that conviction and to have confidence, when I teach, if you're going to play up when you're playing something, let's say you make a mistake, make it nice and loud. You know what I mean? You play strong and you play loud, and you just do. You gotta just just try to be as strong as you can and have confidence. And everyone, I know people hear this all the time. People are going to try to throw you down. People are always going to be jealous of you no matter what you do. It's just natural thing of life, but you got to just surround yourself with, positive people, positive things. Don't let that get to you. Don't let jealousy, don't compare yourself to other people. I know that 18 years old, that's what it's so hard to not do that. But you're going to have certain strengths and other people are going to have certain strengths, and that's okay. So you have to just find those strengths, and just try to get that jealousy out of there, and just be the best that you can be, and learn from other people that you see as well. So yeah, it's a hard, 18 years old is, I think, a very difficult age. That's when you're going from high school, you're now an adult, and now you're trying to literally start a life, start a career. It's hard. It's difficult.
That is a fantastic, fantastic answer to that question. Confidence and conviction.
Yeah, yes.
Even if you fake it till you make it. I think at 18, I faked it till I made it. With confidence. I certainly always had conviction, but that's beautiful. That's such a great message to tell your 18-year-old self, and to tell 18-year-olds in general, and particularly women, young women. You're just beginning. Go out there, have confidence. You'll fail. Do it loudly. I love that.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it is. It's a hard time, but you got to just go out there. Exactly. Just be strong, confident, and conviction. Yeah. And that's, I feel like if you have that mindset, you'll be the best you can be. I mean, our goal is to just reach our potential for the body we're given, for the brain that we're given. We have to reach our potential. So that's that's the whole thing is comparing yourself to others is such that I just noticing that age group, they really do compare themselves so much to each other. There's a lot of, they're kind of finding their way, and it's tough to do that. So you have to realize that you're given this, you're going to reach your potential for what you have and what you're given in this world.
I think that, Elysa, that is so beautiful. It's funny because I was going to call out the comparison. I think that is a really good thing. I think it's a huge thing with 18-year-olds, with 20-year-olds, with 30-year-olds, with 40-year-olds, with 50-year-olds, particularly with women. Stop comparing. Be you, do you, be your best loud self, and confidently, so I think that's a great, that's a really, really important point that we should all lean into. Just moving right along. How do you feel about being a woman in today's world?
So for me, I am lucky enough to be here in the United States, where I feel like it's the best place to be for a woman. Like, we do have the most freedoms, I believe, in the world. Europe is pretty good too, certain parts, but I really do feel like we have a nice amount of freedom, and we're treated well in most of the states here. So I am definitely, especially I live in New York City, so in Brooklyn. So here, I have to say I'm super, super gifted to be able to live here, because I don't feel, I know a lot of people, they do feel like kind of inferior, or they're treated below, but as a woman in today's age, I do feel like I have a lot of opportunity. I feel like I am treated equal, and I am, of course, there's always room to grow, of course, but I do feel in today's time, it's a great place for women to be, and it gives us a chance to really grow and be the superpower of the world in a sense, because you see so much of that. So I'm gifted in that way. In other places, though, it's so different. So it's really, really tough. I think depending on where you are, like, the experience will be completely different than that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, living in New York City. I lived there for 26 years, and I live right outside of New York in Stamford, Connecticut. And, I work in New York and work in Boston. And the thing that's really interesting, I think you're right. I think what happens when you grow up. So I moved to New York when I was 17 to go to college, to go to art school. And I lived there for 26 years. So from 17 on, and before I moved my family out to the country. And I mean, I didn't even think it from that perspective. I think just because I lived in New York, I could do anything. I didn't feel like there were caps on me. I didn't feel like there was a glass ceiling, and I'm in my 50s. So I'm not, I mean, I was part of later 50s as well. So and when I think about it, I never felt like anything could stop me because I was a woman. But I wasn't in this country. I wasn't working in academics. I wasn't in this state where, you know, they like, so like I always took that for granted, that I'm just who I am, and I lean into my power. That was just, you know, so I think that's a really good answer. Which, you know, without touching on everything that's going on today, which is like a you know, a live wire. You know, yesterday I spoke with a professor at Washington U in St. Louis, and, you know, it's very different in Missouri, you know, very, very different. So I think that you just hit, I think, lean into the experience based on where you're located. And, you know, it was interesting having spoken with women from India, from New Delhi in their 80s, women in their 60s there. They've led, and of course, that's very class oriented. They've led very wonderful lives without struggle. So it really depends on where you're coming from and what you've experienced. So I think that's a good answer. You know, like moving along those lines, if you could change anything, you know, to make the world a better place for women, like what would you, you know, where would you go with that idea?
I know that's a really tough question, because there's, yeah, I mean, really, if you can make it like the experience, and I have to say I do love New York for that reason, because it's so you know, it's so mixed, it's so diverse, and it's true. You feel like you could be who you are. It is a place, and I realized that when when I was 18, I moved to Spain, and I lived there for like about 4 months or so. And that's when I realized, I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize that I'm from New York. Like I didn't realize I'm from New York City, if that makes sense. Like I didn't realize it was so, you know, just like such a different area to be from there to going into Spain, where it's very much, you know, one type of culture. And so it is a beautiful thing to be able to have that. So I guess my main thing would be is if we could make the whole world in a way where women can feel the way that I feel throughout the world. Like if there's a way where they can feel like they are able to not have, you know, feel inferior, you know, feel that way. So if they can have that same opportunity where they're not looked at as like, you know, like you can't do this, you're a woman, or this is not the right space for you. Here in New York, it really doesn't feel that way. Like, I mean, you go into a place, it's about what you have, who you are, what skill set you have, and what you can do. It's not like, or I don't feel like it's like, okay, you're a woman, you know, or you're this or that, but it's just really more about you're just a human, and this is what you can offer. Okay, this is good for you. So there's so there's that there. So if we could make it where we feel that way throughout the world, that would be a beautiful change, because I know it's not like that in most places. I feel like it's very unique where I am and where I'm situated. So I, like I keep on saying, I am gifted to be in that environment where I can feel that way.
Actually, I want to build on that because I think you've hit on something without saying it. You talked about not feeling inferior in different parts of the world, our country, the world. It is like right now our country in a huge way. Can you like speak a little bit? I think you're talking really about equality. You know, if equality, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because today, the day we're launching is going to be National Women's Equality Day in the United States. And so that's, you know, August 26th. It's a really important thing. And so my question to you is like, talk about, so you're speaking about equality. So the way you would change the world would be to make everyone equal. Anything else you'd want to illuminate?
I mean, I know that's so vast, but yes.
No, that's a great, no. Vast is good. Think big. We don't think big, we stay small. Go ahead.
Right. But that's really what it is. If we can have equality, yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say, is like being able to feel like a woman feeling like they're equal. Because you have to feel inside that you're equal. So someone could say, oh yeah, you are treated equal. No, but you need to feel, the woman has to feel that way. I feel equal. Luckily, I do. I feel like I'm equal, if not I'm not above men, but luckily I don't have that. Like you're better than me, and I know there's certain things that a man, like whatever, can do, I guess, better than me. But there's certain things a woman can do better. I don't have that. I don't feel inferior to a man, thankfully. So I have that, but I know that there's a lot of women out there that do feel that way, and it's something that's going to be hard to change, or they just, it's, you can't just say, oh, feel. So if women can just all feel equal, all feel like we are just as great as a man, better than a man, whatever it is, but just in general, feel like you're the top. And that's why the conviction and the confidence, always just be, I am strong, I am the best, I am number one. And of course there's room to grow. I'm not trying to say be conceited, but I'm just saying, like, you need to love yourself, be on top, and always there's room to grow. So, take any criticism you have, and build on that, and be better. But if we can all feel that way, or get women to feel that way, that would be great. And that's why the sisterhood that you're doing is great, because you're trying to get us to work together, to be a team, to help each other grow and feel and be the top. So
Love the answer. That's brilliant. And yes, I have goosebumps, everybody. So I have a lot of goosebumps these days. But I think the thing that just is really speaking to me about is your, Elysa, just speaking about the feeling of it. You can't tell someone to be or feel equal. They have to feel it. It's an internal thing, and internal and external has been a huge topic throughout different conversations that I've been having. And so I think that what you're talking about when you say you have to feel that you're equal or better than equal, I feel just like you. I don't, there's no comparison. So I feel more than equal. I feel better than, I'm a greater than sign. But you can't tell women to feel that way. It's something that has to become intrinsic. It's something that they have to work on building that. And I've been saying the word self-efficacy internally. I feel this way, and back to your conviction and confidence and belief. And part of it's just in doing, and just getting out there and doing, and recognizing that, you're no different. In fact, you're more powerful. You create life. Without life, these men don't exist to be doing all the things they're doing. So it's really, I mean, we could go down many different avenues with this one. It's really interesting. So as we move along, I love the fact that you brought up the sisterhood. Do you feel part of a sisterhood, Elysa?
I do feel part of a sisterhood. I do. I do notice that I do definitely I do definitely like not that I like women more than men or anything, but I notice, like, I do push myself toward women. I want to see them be the top, be the best in a way. I do have two boys, like two young boys, 12 and 10. So of course, I want to see them reach the top. But I'm always looking to get like, even in my classroom, like, of course, I'm looking to get the boys in the classroom to be the top as well. But I'm really looking at the girls in the classroom that are going to become women, like, the high schoolers. Like, I want them to really make sure they have a voice. I just feel like, so I'm always trying to get them to have that voice and push to that voice. And you could see, like, there's a smile there. They could tell that, oh, she wants me to be the best that I could be. So yes, I do feel part of a sisterhood. I love women. I love, I feel like this is it's an important thing. And whenever I see, I try to always have a smile wherever I do. Always try to be positive as best as possible, and in a good way, not in, but so yeah, when I see women down the street, when I'm walking down the street, anything, I'm always smiling, and I always look up to them, and anyone, like, that I see, bringing themselves up, I'm always happy to see that. So I do feel I'm part of a sisterhood. And I am around a lot of women, luckily. I work alongside another teacher who's a woman. The principal of the school is a woman, which is beautiful. My own school, I own that. One of my best students, who's been with me since 5 years old, from New York Guitar Academy, she is absolutely incredible. She just won competition. She's actually on her way right now to do another competition. She's 17 years old. She's a woman. She's absolutely incredible guitar player, like top. So yeah, so like I just happen to be, I'm lucky enough to be able to be around lots of women and and have that beautiful bond there. So
So I love the way you expressed how you feel part of a sisterhood. And the reason why I'm saying that is it's not that I have these 20 friends. That's not how you're describing your sisterhood. You're describing all women and the feeling you feel compelled to, like a magnet, to attract women and be positive to women, help grow women. I love that perspective. That's a beautiful, beautiful perspective. And it's very conceptual. And I think that's something that women could share with women, young, old, and every age in between, because it's not just about one or two women. It's not about your best friends. It's about recognizing that we are part of this sisterhood. Women, we are all women. We share certain universalities. We have breasts, we have vaginas, we have all these things, and we share challenges and struggles, but we also share tremendous power, tremendous abilities, and stuff. And so to recognize the sisterhood is each and every one of the women out there, and then your ability, through your work. So if you're a teacher, to help elevate and bring to life, and not at the expense of the young man, but just to see the potential in the women, and let them know that there is a sister behind them, and you're just doing that naturally. It's like innate in who you are. So I think that's a really wonderful answer, and I can really relate to it. So thank you for that.
yeah, I actually personally, honestly, I don't I don't really have many like I don't have like a knit of friends. Like some people they have like their 10, 15 like really, really close friends, or even like 5, 2, 3, 4, whatever. I don't really have that, right? I always I have my family, and I have a large family, which I'm very thankful to have. And then I work a lot. So I end up putting all my time into my family and to my work. So that's why I guess I don't have that sisterhood of friends, like close knit friends. I don't really have that. But I have, I guess it's more vast, and it is a beautiful thing to have that. So it's like, I'm very happy where I am. To me, it's a good thing. I like the way that I open that up, but yes, I do. So it's really all the women that I see, or that are put in front of me. I do try to do my best to help them grow as best as I can. Yeah, I'm naturally like a teacher. I've been teaching at my school. I've just been teaching my whole life, so it just comes out natural. So yeah.
So it's that's another interesting point. And I think that I want to, if you don't mind, I want to build on that for a second, and maybe I'll have more to say, which is, I think when we become working mothers, regardless of whether it's an art form, guitar, or whether you're a doctor, whatever, and you're raising your family, you get all consumed with the family when you're trying to juggle both. You don't have the luxury of building those like real people communities. And especially like I fell into the same trap. I mean, I had my first child at 29, then 30, and then 36, and I was working, a creative field. You're working, long hours and stuff. So for me, it was family, work. And so I had friends, and I met friends through the children, and I have friends who I've kept in touch if I could go out, have a dinner with, but they couldn't be friends who required that much, because I didn't have that much left to give. And so I think it's interesting, because I think, women like us, tend to feel the greater good of womanhood, because you have to lean in and feel it from other women, that connection, because sometimes you just don't have the physical time to do it. So you're getting the sisterhood through other avenues. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. You're basically getting it through your job, or within your family, like if that's what you're focused on. But basically, it's going to end up being where you're working. You're going to end up building a sisterhood there, depending on where you work. I'm lucky enough to always meet new people, because I'm constantly in my school. I have new students coming in, and then I have students that stay with me, so I'm able to build connections with them. And then now that I'm also teaching at this high school, now I even have, like, so many more, because that school has 4,000 students. So every semester I'm getting about 150 students that I'm teaching. So like, very mixed, so now I'm seeing these people. So however long I'm going to be with them, definitely for at least one semester, maybe two, maybe more, who knows, I'm able to try to build that. So that's how I look at it, is like give as much as I can to them while I see them, and try to build them and let them have like a very great experience, and hopefully they get something from there that's just going to make them strong and they go with that. And so my main thing, I guess, is the conviction and the confidence. So, and learning, if they're going to be able to learn how to play guitar right there, that shows them, wow, I could do this. So they already have a goal. Like, you're using the guitar to show them, yes, look, you can play guitar in 3 months. Look at you, you're able to strum chords, you're able to play these songs, you have a goal. That's just one thing. Look, you can do this. You could do anything. So it gives them that mindset to show them that they can do that. So that's kind of how I do it. Instead of really talking a lot, I don't really talk a lot. Now I am, of course, we're here together having a conversation, but in the classroom or where I am, it's just basically doing, like you said, like, just they're learning this, and then they see the goal, like they see, wow, I can do this. We're at a concert, they're performing, wow, you did this, and then they can reflect on it and be like, it gives them, naturally, it's going to give them confidence to be able to do something else. And hopefully when they walk into the next chapter of their life, they bring that with them, and they bring that confidence with them.
Yeah, that's the best teachers do that. You're like the queen bee of that. That's awesome. So thank you. That's great. That's a great message for the people in general, for women in general, but certainly for young people to really understand. And when they get lucky to have a teacher like you who cares that much to give them these tools for life. And I think what you're saying is the guitar is one tool to prove to yourself that and to build your confidence. That's really great. As we finish the conversation, I'm giving you a platform here to say what you would say to women of all ages around the world. What would your message be? Like, not just in today's world, if you could say anything that you feel could bring, and you can talk about confidence and conviction. I think that's huge. But like, what else would you say? What would your message be? You're on a podium with 4,000 students. The students are adults, they're kids, they're every age, but they're women. What would you say to us?
That's a nice question. Well, first thing I would say is I just want to thank them so much for being here, listening to what I have to me, what I have to bring to the table, and respecting what I have to say and my word and who I am as a person. Be the best you that you can be. That's number one. Reach your potential. You know, you got to look at yourself, and I know that sounds very reach your potential, you know, cliche, but yeah, you have to look at where you are, and you have to say, okay, I'm here, reach your potential. I also think it's very important to have, I'm very one goal at a time. I know it's good to think big. Yes, it's good to think big, like, okay, I'm going to be, let's say your goal is, I'm going to be this, whatever, this top, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be this doctor, this lawyer, this, you know, musician, this artist, this famous person, whatever it is that you're going to have, or just, I'm going to have this family, or whatever it is that you know, you kind of have some type of goal. You got to go small steps. That's super, super important. So the way I work personally is I literally do one step at a time. So even with my guitar playing, my goal is like, okay, I need to first, I'm going to learn I need to play the song for this event. Okay, so I'm going to just slowly learn that. From there, I'm going to build. Or if I'm teaching, like, people are like, oh, what's your end goal for all the students? No, my goal is for you to learn how to play the G chord. Boom, that's it. Play the G chord. So if you're having a hard time playing the whole thing, we're going to simplify it, and you're only going to do half. The guitar is 6 strings, so you're going to do a half 3-string chord. That's your goal. You got it. Boom. Now we're going to build on the next one. So I really go like one goal at a time. And for me, it works great because I don't feel this pressure of like, okay, I look at the end result and I have to get all the way up there. No, I look at like, okay, I have to just reach this, and hopefully I reach it in a week, you know, like weekly goals or something like that. I think is very important. And then you slowly build on that, because to just have a vast goal is hard. But to know that I'm going to try to do this, and I'm going to try to do it in this week, or even today, my goal today is to just do this one item, you're done. And then you feel good about yourself because you reached your goal and you move on to the next. So that would be my message to everyone out there, is try to reach your potential. Don't, you know, you can look big into the future, yes, but like go small goals, one at a time, and try to get there. Like I say, always be strong about everything that you do. Like even what you said, even if you're not sure, you're not confident, just play the role that you are. You walk strong, you walk tall, and you try to reach those goals in that sense. Sorry. So
I love that. That's fantastic. I just want to bring out one thing you said, because I think that the smaller goals, the smaller steps you take, it's like, life is a journey, right? And it's all about the process. And those process are those incremental goals that get you to where you want to go. And guess what? Where you want to go can change, right?
Exactly.
But I think being your best self, I love that. I think that's fantastic. I think, being goal oriented and thinking about the process. I think what I've learned in my life is that when you get more caught up in the process, you enjoy it and all those things start to happen. Not that I don't think I was ever really necessarily goal oriented. I sort of had an idea and I wanted to realize it. So I just did it. I didn't think about the goals, the steps, but I got consumed by the process. And I think that's a great thing. And then I love, your ending with this, which is just stand strong and stand tall and belief. I think that's
Yeah.
fantastic, Elysa. I
Yeah,
mean,
don't let someone bring you down. That's it. You got to just you're going to get punches. Yeah. You're going to get punches along the way, 100%, but just don't, you got to take it light. You got to take it light. There's going to be people that criticize everything that you do. Just take it light. Like, think about anyone that's made it up there or won Grammys. You know how many they lost before they even won one? So like, think about that. Like, there's going to be so many times that you're going to lose and you're not going to be there, but you got to just keep going and keep moving forward. The goal oriented thing is, yeah, if you're able to be like someone like you, where you don't have to think about the goals and you just naturally like do it, that's great. But some people, I see a lot of people, they make these big goals for the, like, oh, my goal is I'm going to do this. It's like such a vast thing, I'm like, I'm going to open up a business and I'm going to be the top. I'm like, okay, that's great, but how are you going to get there? And then, like, it's hard to do that. You just feel like, okay, I'm going to just try to get one student. Oh, I got one student. Okay, great. Teach them well. Let's build them to be the best they could be. And then slowly you just try to get another student, and then another one, and you just try to build that way, as opposed to like, yeah, I'm going to make so you got, yes, it's good to have the big goal, but it could also be very scary to have that as well.
I think I couldn't agree more. I don't, I'm just saying that I don't operate with goals. I get overwhelmed by that. I kid you not. I can't deal with diets. I can't, if I need to lose 5 pounds, I just adjust. I can't live in those things that put me in a box that are too,
Yeah,
and that's just because I'm a creative person, but I think you're right. Other people do. And I think when your goals get too vast, it's very hard to figure out the process and the journey to get there. And, a lot of frustration, what have you. And then you don't feel the confidence and conviction because your goal is so lofty, it's very hard to attain. So I do think that you're spot on with that. But I also think that it's important to believe you can do things and try things. And, one of the things, I mean, I've been fortunate, is to be able to try new things, fail, and then try new things. I mean, have a job so I can pay all of my bills and stuff, and try new things like creating Under the Sisterhood, because I know that it's needed. And I know there's other women platforms out there, but I think this is a different kind of one. And I'm going to invest in it because I believe in it. Now, if I give 100 people, 100 women voices of all different ages, and then they talk to 100 more women who talk to 100 more women to talk to 100 more women, I feel like I've succeeded. To me, it's just about like, and I think that maybe one piece of advice I could add to your thing about your goals and taking it one step at a time is like enjoying it, like feeling really passionate about it. Because how lucky are you, Elysa, that you got into guitar and you just loved it. And then it's an art form for you, and you just got better and better at it, mastered it, and became, the artist that you are. I mean, by the way, everybody shout out to Elysa. She is friggin' a rock star on that flamenco guitar. They came in and did 2 of my events. I wanted them to do my daughter Olivia's, but they had a different sort of vision for the wedding. But anyway,
yeah, you can check out, if you want to check out what I do. My website's Rumba Flamenca. I play solo guitar. I play duo with my husband. I also have a family band. We call ourselves the Quarantine Quartet. So me, my husband, my 2 sons, and we play together, and it's beautiful. It's been building very nicely. So yeah, I agree with you as well with you got to love what you do. But the thing is with me, when I started playing guitar, I wasn't planning on doing that as a career, honestly. I just wanted to play. I loved guitar. I don't know what it was. I love guitar. I wanted to play guitar. I played it throughout high school. And then I actually was going to go into business because I did not think I was good enough to even go into guitar. My logic when I was 18 years old was, what am I going to do with guitar? Like, how do you make money with guitar? What that doesn't make sense. I'm never going to be as good. I'm not that fast. I can never play fast scales like that. I'm not that great. I'm not the best. Like, there's already people 18 years old that are incredible, which is true because they're training since they're literally 2 years old or 3 years old, like my kids. So you have like 10-year-olds that are like already kicking my butt by the time I'm 18. So I'm like, what am I even going to do with guitar? It's pointless. So I went actually to school to get my degree in business. And then what I did was I taught guitar on the side as my income. So I was working and going to school at the same time. And then eventually that wasn't the right path. I didn't like what I did, and I ended up going back into music. I got my master's in music ed from Columbia, and then I opened up my own school. And then now this past year, I actually used the certification to teach at a school. But I've been I still have my own school as well, so I'm doing both to do that. But what I'm getting at with this point is that that's why I'm always about the conviction and the confidence. But is that I didn't have the confidence at all. Like, I did not think I was good enough. I did not think I could do anything with that. So if I were to look back, like you said, 18 years old, and now it's like, I would never think that this would be me. I'm 41. So I would never think that from 18 to 41, that, wow, this is what you did. So you got to it's good. Whatever I did, it ended up bringing me here. So I learned from everything that I do. So I probably wouldn't really change much. It's just, you got to, everyone has their own way that they're going to go. But yeah, so it's just interesting how things come full circle in the end. So.
That's just beautiful. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation. You are an amazing guitarist, but more importantly, an amazing woman, mother, sister, daughter, all those good things. And you are making the world a better place and bringing music. And so thank you so much for getting under the hood today with me, sharing your female experiences, and of course, the beauty of all your music and your teachings.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Thanks for listening to Under the Sisterhood. We hope you will join us next episode to honor amazing women from around the world. This podcast is created and hosted by Under the Sisterhood, LLC, and Elizabeth Elfenbein, produced by Elizabeth Elfenbein and Zach Slapp, and edited by Zach Slapp. The music is by Ayla Schaefer. Her song, Rose.